Hi guys, Rob here. I'm with T.Jr.Woodworking. Welcome to my shop today. Today I'm going to put together a small video for you that I had a request to do, and I'm going to do it for you. Today I'm going to go over 7 tips and tricks that I use in my videos that I put out there, and hopefully the tips and tricks I use to share with you will help you along too. So let's get into this thing. Let's get the video put together here and bring it to you guys to share with you guys some things I do in my shop. Alright guys, tip number 1, selecting the wood you want for your project. Select the correct wood to use for your project. If you're building something for outside that's going to be out in the weather, you want a natural lasting wood that will last to the weather, you probably want to choose a piece of cedar. Cedar lasts good outside. Lasts a while outside. Will stand up to the elements, to the rain, to the sun, the wind, the snow. Lasts a long time to the outside. If you're building a coffee table, or say you're going to build some end tables with your coffee table, probably want to use some oak. Oak is a hardwood. Will take a lot of beating. Will stand a lot versus a softer wood like pine or spruce, or it'll hold up to a lot better. But when you go to the big box store to buy lumber, say you want a 1x6, the measurements at the box store is going to be 3/4 inch by 5.5. If you go to the sawmill to buy your lumber, to select your lumber, your wood for your project, they measure theirs in quarters. So an inch board by 6 inches will actually be an inch by 6, but they call it 4/4. 4/4. An inch and a half is 6/4. 2 inch is 8/4. And what I mean by that, like this inch oak 1x6 that I have here, it's an inch wide, but they measure it in quarters. I've always found you get what you pay for at the sawmill. You got live edge stuff like this piece of cherry right here, which I got an upcoming video for that. Just take your time, figure out your project, what you're going to need, how much you're going to need, then go get it. Alright guys, tip number 2 I want to share with you today. Tip number 2 is proper tool usage and being safe with them. Whatever tool you use to do your project with, whether it be hand tools or power tools, respect that tool. Keep it clean. Keep your area around where you're working clean, so you don't have any trips or dangers or something that can mess your project up, or worse yet, hurt you. Respect the tool. Make sure it's always sharp, whether you're using a hand plane. This is a smoothing plane, or whether you're using a table saw that you see me use in my videos, or a chop saw. Make sure that you wear proper safety equipment. Make sure the blades are good and sharp in them. Take your time. Build your project. Be safe about it. Alright guys, tip number 3 I'm going to bring you today is measurement. You've got your wood selected that you went to the big box or the sawmill or wherever you went to get it. You got it all worked up, dimensioned up. Now you got it down to where it's starting to look good. You can start to see your pattern in it. Now you need to lay your project out. So I'm going to go over a couple different ways here. We're going to use a pencil, and then I'm going to show you a little trick that you can use to get your measurements precise, right down to the detail. Number one thing I want to talk about in this third tip of measurements. If you got multiple tape measures, this is the one I use the most during my videos. Once I start a project with this tape measure, this is the tape measure that does the entire project. This is the tape measure I use from beginning to end. If you use this tape measure or another tape measure, this is the tape measure that I would use to complete the project with. I've got a couple different things I want to show you here on measuring. Number one, when you're measuring and laying out your project to start to do your cuts, remember the thickness of your blade. If you don't, that can get you in the end. Remember the thickness of allow for the thickness of your blade when you're doing your measuring for your cuts so you can get precise down. Now I'm going to lay out a mark here of cherry that I got here. I'm going to lay one out at 2 inches. And then I'm going to have one at 4 inches. But I'm going to lay it out with my knife. And I'll show you the difference in thickness of the knife blade versus the pencil blade. Now if you can see that or not, there's the pencil blade, there's the knife blade, right there. Now let me square them across, maybe that'll get you a little bit better sight on it. Remember I laid these out at 2 inches. Little trick I'll show you here when using the marking blade. Get down here a little bit for you so you can see it. Sorry it's a little bumpy. Take your blade, stick the tip of it in the mark you made, slide your square over to your blade, and then make your mark. I like to mark 3 or 4 times. That way I get a good mark on the board here. Now, if you can see that or not, this is the pencil. That's the blade. See the difference in the width? Sure, it may be a 1/16 or we're maybe talking 30 seconds and stuff here, but trust me. Fine woodworking, beautiful, tight joints, that's the one you want. Now let me just take this pencil and just darken this line up. Just darken that line up a little bit. Now you can see the pencil mark is even wider than the actual mark of the knife blade. For your fine woodworking and stuff, to get your good tight joints and stuff there, that's what you want to go to. You'll get better, precise, beautiful, easier to work with. Just take your time. I use a pencil a lot when I'm rough cutting, but when I'm doing something real fine, I'll go to the blade. Tip number 4, safety. I can't stress that word enough, safety. Being safe. Always follow the instructions that come with your power tools and all equipment. Your safety instructions. To go a little bit further, for loud objects like the planer, the saw, the table saw, set of ear protection is what you need. I wear these ones here the most in my video, but you can also get a set of muffs like these. They've got them that you can play music in them or turn the noise down and still be able to hear what's going on around you. But this is my go-to here for my ear protection, is these. You want to save your ears. You want to keep your ears. You want to keep your hearing. Some of this stuff gets pretty loud. For your lungs, this is a brand new one here. I use the ones made by 3M. You can change the filters in them, keep the dust out of your lungs and stuff. I've got one hanging up on the wall back here that I use more. This is a brand new one I just took out of the box. That way I have a couple different ones around. But always wear something to protect your lungs. Even though you may have a dust collecting system in your shop, there's still, never hurts to take the extra step. You know what I mean? You can buy a full face shield that covers your face. It goes around your head, protect your eyes and stuff. You can buy one of those if you want to. But safety. Slow down. Take your time. Be safe about it. You'll get much, much more enjoyment out of building your project versus having to visit the doctor or the hospital or something. Safety. Take care of yourself out there. Enjoy what you do. Tip number 5. I'm going to go over sanding, getting ready for your finishing. You've already bought your wood at the lumber yard. You brought it home. You've dimensioned it up. You've got it down to this point here. Now you're getting ready to sand with your sander, with your different grits. You've already brought it through out of the planer. It's down to this point here where it's feeling good, but it can get better. It can get a lot better. Number 1 I want to share with you is the grain. When you're sanding, always sand with the grain. Always sand in the direction that the grain is running. Because if you sand against the grain, it causes tear outs. You can get bumps, divots in it. Sanding with your grain, you're going to get a much smoother, much more finished sand than versus sanding against it. And if right out of the planer, you can do however you want, but I usually start after it comes off the planer when I'm getting ready to sand it. I'll usually start with a 120, work my way up to 220. I mean, you can go as high as you want on the grits. Highest grit I got here is 600. But in between and on each sand, just take a pencil and mark it up here. Put pencil marks on your piece that you're going to sand. I just put the 120 on that, for instance. I'm going to start with the 120. I'm going to go with my grain pattern. Go get my sander. And I'm going to sand this piece until the pencil mark is gone. Once I know the pencil mark is gone off of the entire piece, then I know I'm done with the 120. It's all smooth and even with the 120. I'm going to pull the 120 off, put my next grit on, mark it up again with a pencil, and repeat the process. Rinse and repeat till I get down to my final and last sanding. Then I'm going to put a pencil mark on it, sand it down smooth, and I guarantee you'll get a lot better finish to apply your finish to. And don't take the sander and push on it. Don't put pressure on the sander. You don't need pressure at all on a sander. Most of the time when I'm sanding, I hold the sander back here. Let the sander do your work for you. Once in a while you'll see me grip the sander up here and hold it as I'm sanding. But I let the weight of the sander is all the pressure I put on the piece I'm sanding. Let the sander do the work for you. I mean, if you're going to put the pressure down and apply it, why not get you some sanding blocks and use them? That's why I bought the sander. I'm lazy. Let the sander do the work for you. You'll have a much, much better, you'll be more happy, more proud of your piece. Follow those steps. Tip number 6 I want to share with you. Planning and patience. Take the time to plan your project out. Your width, the dimensions, the size you want it, the height you want it, how much lumber you're going to need when you go to the sawmill or to the lumber yard to get your lumber. Plan all that out. That's part of the project. It's a lot easier to plan it than just to wing it. It's a lot easier to have you drawed out set of plans to follow than just winging it. Be patient. Take your time. Follow safety. Patient with your work. Patience with your project. Taking your time. Bring something like this out of it. A project you're happy with, you're proud of. Something beautiful. That once started out as a rough piece of wood like I showed you over there in selecting your wood. And it ended up looking like this. I put a book match in the middle of it. It all started out with a rough piece of wood just like I showed you over there. I'm happy with it. You can be too. Take your time, lay it out, plan it out, and follow what you've got going there. And I guarantee you'll be happy with your project. Share it with me because I know I'll be happy with it. Send me pictures of it. Send me some ideas of things you're doing. I love to see them. Remember, planning and patience. This last tip I want to share with you kind of goes along with planning and patience. And I put these two in here together because I want to push you further. I've always said, and I'll say it again, you've probably heard me say it before, the best experience is experience. Jumping in there and doing it. Hands on. After you've selected your wood, your tools are cleaned up, your shop's cleaned up, you're ready to go, you do your measurements, you got your safety gear ready, you're ready to go. You're sanding and you're finishing. You're getting ready for putting the final touch on it. You did your planning, you've laid it all out, you went and got your lumber for that project. Now pick another one and go a little bit further. Pick something that you always wanted to do, but you're afraid to jump in there and do it because it may be, you think, too difficult, too tough. Your skill level, you don't think you're at that level where you can do that. How you going to get there? Unless you do that. So I'm going to call this tip here, continuing to learn, to push yourself further, to extend your level or ability, if I may call it. You ain't going to do it unless you try it. You've done it all your steps. Your last project turned out good, so I got faith in you that your next one will turn out good too, as well, and or better. Follow these steps and tips that I've given you here throughout this video, and I guarantee you your projects will turn out beautiful. Turn out just the way you want them and surprise yourself. Believe me, I surprised myself with some of the stuff I've done in here on some of my videos. I sit back and look at it and think like, wow. You did it. You made that out of something rough and a board that was 8 foot long. You cut it down, you did your dimension, you made that. Same thing with you. You made that. Continue to learn. Continue to try different things. Continue to be safe. Follow safety. Go for it. Go after your goal. Set your goal. Meet that goal. And I guarantee you, a few months from now, you'll look back on yourself and you'll think, oh yeah, I got this. Yeah, we got this. Get out there and do it. Make some sawdust. Share with me your projects that you're doing. Upcoming projects you're going to do. Send me photos of them. Send me photos. I'll put them in my videos on YouTube for you. Yeah, that's how proud I am of you guys out there. Best experience is experience. Remember that. Lock that in up here. And I guarantee you, out there watching me today, you'll have it. Until next time. Look forward to my upcoming videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Hit that like button. Boop that like button. Beat that like button up. Subscribe to me. You want to see more videos like this? Let me know. We'll get them out there. Till next time, I'm Rob with T.Jr.Woodworking. Have a good one.